You can definitely do that. That's a quicker way to build generational wealth. Like you can buy like a duplex, live in one, and rent out the other. Buy a quad or fourplex, because those still qualify under conventional loans, so you can still get those. You have to live in those for a third minimum of at least a year, but you can definitely do that. And the beauty of those is that it's one loan, but you'll be able to generate cash flow.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest leads homeownership workshops and helps home buyers get into their first home with a special focus on helping people through every phase of the process. In the greater Atlanta area, please welcome Charles Powell. Charles, welcome to the show.
Welcome, man. Thanks for having me on. Like you said, my name is Charles Powell with Genesis Digital Property, and I'm the local realtor in the metropolitan area of Atlanta and surrounding areas.
It's great to have you on the show here, Charles. And we were talking before hopping on here about really just how needed it is for folks who may be navigating the space and almost feel like, well, where do I start? Or aren't having success in other areas. I mean, you come across these people all the time.
Definitely, definitely. One of the things that I learned when I got into this business is that a lot of people want to become homeowners, they just don't know the path. So what I did was one of my team leaders kind of challenged me to start hosting workshops. I wanted my workshops to be a little bit different from the average workshop. So I wanted my workshops to be able to get my clients from the beginning stages of home ownership all the way to becoming a homeowner. So what I do is I educate my clients on the benefits of homeowners. I assemble an all-star panel where they can go and talk to tax professionals, mortgage professionals, and even a debt eliminator who can help them get their DTI under control. So the goal for them is to come to the workshop. It's a laid-back environment. They're able to ask everybody on the panel these questions so they can find out how they can get from point A to the closing table where we put keys in their hands and celebrate their success.
Ask it about, where the major, I would say, obstacles are for most people who are looking at this. I can speak for myself as someone who's encountered many of these obstacles on a personal note, and I can say the lending is very difficult, and then also I may be looking at the wrong types of properties or in the wrong area. And when I say types, I may be thinking, well, I'm going to live in this home for 30 years. It's got to be something that I'm happy to be in for a very long period of time. And I think in some cases, and I don't know, I'm curious to get your perspective, it may be more effective to look at this from, well, this is going to be my home, let's call it for 15 years, but this doesn't have to be my home for 30 and 50 years. What's your perspective on folks who may be looking at getting their first house?
So there's a couple of ways to do it. At my workshop, we teach them a little bit more about equity. So your first house doesn't have to necessarily be your main home. It doesn't have to be your forever home. What a lot of people do is they buy their first house, an entry level house, fix it up a little bit, and then after a couple of years, they sell that house and get equity, and then they can use their equity to buy their dream home. So that's one path to home ownership. The second path is you want to just kind of educate yourself on lenders and what you need to do to qualify for. A lot of times you get a good agent, they can kind of walk you through that process. So those are the two ways that you can do it. And just kind of talk to your lenders to find out, you know what I'm saying, so they can kind of help you eliminate some of the misconceptions. Like we was talking about earlier, it's not necessarily, in some cases, you don't have to put down 20% to become a homeowner.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
With conventional FHA, sometimes you only have to put down 3.5 or 3%. It just depends. So you just have to speak to your mortgage officer, kind of find out what's the best route to go.
I just came across this today, and I really agree with it. So it's funny we're having this conversation, which is this idea of everything really is predicated on getting qualified. As a realtor, I feel this way, but then as a home buyer, I also feel this way. And then as someone who interfaces a lot with people who are first-time home buyers, is there any general guidance that you give folks when they are trying to find the right lender?
Yeah, so you with anything you want to shop and find out, you know what I'm saying, and figure out which lender is best for you. You also want you also want a lender who kind of you have a good relationship, a good rapport with. Your lender is a very key portion of you becoming an actual homeowner because your real estate agent and your lender will have to be on the same page in order to get you to the closing table. So you definitely want to shop around, but you definitely want to have a good rapport with whichever lender you choose to go with. And do a little of your own research as well.
I want to pivot a bit here, Charles, and ask you about the greater Atlanta area in general. I'm a licensed agent in Texas. I was raised in New Jersey, so I kind of have a perspective of how real estate, how regional it is. I know it would be a lot harder for me to qualify for a home in northern New Jersey than it would be for a home in Texas. What's the market out there like in Atlanta? And are there a lot of first-time home buyers who are getting into homes, or is that maybe more challenging in Atlanta than it is in some other markets?
No, it's in certain parts of Atlanta, it's a little bit challenging, but you can find a nice home. Like I recently had one of my attendees who came to the workshop. She closed on a home a couple of months ago, became a first time homeowner, and she was able to qualify. So the ranges in Atlanta is from like 250 to like 450. So that's a nice little swing. So
Yeah.
you should be able to qualify for something in Atlanta. It just depends on that. You may not be able to get some in the heart of Atlanta, so it may be on the outer skirts of Atlanta. But you should be able to qualify for a nice home in Atlanta.
I want to get a little bit granular and ask you about some of the strategies that I've heard some investors, specifically investor agents and first time home buyers, talk to me about for how they kind of house hacked and got into a home this way. People talking about buying a quadplex and renting out the 3 units, and that it may be even easier for them to house hack than it might be for them to qualify for a single family home without a rent roll. I'm curious to get your take on that.
Well, you can definitely do that. That's a quicker way to build generational wealth. Like you can buy like a duplex, live in one, and rent out the other. Buy a quad or fourplex, because those still qualify under conventional loans, so you can still get those. You have to live in those for a third minimum of at least a year, but you can definitely do that. And the beauty of those is that it's one loan, but you'll be able to generate cash flow because you'll be able to rent out the second, third, and fourth unit. So,
It's a
well,
big
the second
deal.
and third unit.
I tell people this. I would love to see if this would actually work, but for folks who are even like going to school, right? And sometimes people think about this and they say, well, 18, 19 years old, if you're going to be living in some place for 4, potentially 5 years, a year after graduation, right? Looking for jobs and so on and so forth, that's enough time to potentially build up some equity, specifically in a college town, right? I mean, if there's a good time to be looking at homes, I tell people this. You should start, and especially if you got support from parents, you should start when you're going to school and maybe say, hey, is it even possible? Because we're going to be paying rent from 18 to 23 or 18, graduate school, 26, wherever it is, 24, 26. And so how can we make it so that at the end of this journey, our rent is working for us? Instead of paying rent, you're paying down a mortgage and putting up equity in a property.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Do you have any people who are looking at that, really young people, and maybe thinking about, I don't necessarily have a big six-figure income, but how can I qualify for a home?
Well, there are a couple of people just looking at it, but it's definitely the way to go. Like I haven't, and most of the homeowners that I've worked with, they've been looking for their forever home. So I haven't read across anybody who wants to do that, but we teach that in a workshop. Like it's a good way to do it if you don't have a family, especially because then you can just live there for 1 year and then what I'm saying, move out and rent it. And that's a quick way for you to build generational wealth. You do that for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You have a couple of properties with equity, and then you got cash flow. It makes sense to me.
I want to pivot a bit here and ask you really about getting into the real estate space. When I got into real estate, as a wholesaler initially, I had no exposure to real estate, no one in my family, no friends. I didn't network with realtors. It was kind of a leap of faith. Honestly, I think a lot of people can relate to this. I Google searched, how to build wealth, and real estate was one of the things that came up. I'm curious how you got into the real estate space.
So it was a little bit similar to you. It's kind of like a leap of faith. I was having a conversation with one of my friends who was in sales, and she had recently got her real estate license. She encouraged me to do it, and then I did it. And then my first sale was to one of my nephews, and it was his first time becoming a homeowner, and that kind of sparked the passion. Seeing how happy he was to get to the closing table, putting keys in his hand. That kind of sparked the passion for me.
I actually have an interesting take on this. I don't know if our audience will necessarily agree, and maybe a lot of the realtors won't either, but I think because we are so many people who are wanting to get into homeownership, and I think we were talking before the show here, like the average age of homeownership is in the 50s now, something like 56. There's going to be this burgeoning demand for young people to get into homes, but oftentimes that's kind of like the less, I don't, you know, less aspirational, less passionate area for realtors. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to necessarily work with first-time home buyers, and it seems like it's more arduous. But I think that there's a real niche there and a real way that you could build a scalable business all around the country with however many million people are now in their late 20s, 30s, and are still struggling to purchase a home. I think that there's a lot there.
It's definitely a lot there, but you will need a certain level of patience. First-time homeowners are they're very nervous because it's something that they have never did before, and in most cases, it's their largest purchase. So you want to have a level of patience with them and be able to coach them through it. But yeah, it's definitely a need for it. Like homeownership in the U.S. Alone is at an all-time low, and now it's getting even crazy. I don't know if you've seen this in Texas or in where you are, but in certain parts of Atlanta, they're building land now just to rent. Like they building new construction and they're leasing it. They're not even selling it. And a lot of those areas that they're doing it in are prime for first time home buyers. So, they're buying new construction and putting a whole bunch of people in there leasing it. And, that kind of helps them control the rent. And rent is like crazy right now. For the amount you're paying for rent, you can easily purchase a home.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I mean, you're talking about the people who are basically building out subdivisions and then renting out the units.
The entire subdivision. It's crazy.
Amazing.
It's crazy. Brand new construction.
And you got to have some deep pockets to do that, because people may not be aware of this, but when you're building out the roads and the utilities and everything, the builder pays for everything. So they typically, builders need to quickly see a return on that, because they just put all this money into it, investors and so on and so forth. But now they're seeing that the rents aren't going down. You mentioned Atlanta. I am Texas licensed, so I lived in San Antonio, lived in greater Dallas area, but I also frequently went to Austin. I love the Houston area, and it's not like you're seeing rents go down pretty much anywhere. So you have
Right.
investors coming in and just building out subdivisions and then renting them out. I mean, it's a totally new wave. I do want to get your perspective, Charles, on newer realtors who may be wanting to help first-time home buyers and how to guide them through the process. Is there specific courses that you would recommend them taking? Or maybe if they're specifically in the greater Atlanta area, would it be beneficial for realtors to get involved in your course specifically?
Well, I would say that they would the best way to do it would be to hold workshops. Something similar to what I'm doing. I don't really have a course, but I just do the workshop. So I would say to just figure out a way to have a home ownership workshop and kind of figure out what you want to get, what you want your client to get out of that workshop. You don't want to just have a workshop. You want them to be able to come away with that workshop with some type of knowledge of how to further their education on becoming a home.
I want to ask you a really granular question. Maybe give away some of the gold, but not all of the gold bar, so to speak. I think a lot of people, when they're looking at first time home ownership, it's overwhelming. You're dealing with realtors. Maybe you haven't worked with realtors before. Most people, I would say, first time home buyers have not. Right? You're looking at homes. You're trying to get qualified. Maybe you're getting turned down. Maybe you're seeing, well, what's this area like? So many different things. One of the ways that I've seen, at least in Texas, that people have been getting qualified is in new construction, which is almost counterintuitive, right? Because you're thinking, well, I'm a first-time home buyer. I need to get something that's maybe less costly, because that way I'm more likely to be qualified. But I've been seeing lenders kind of partner with new construction and be very aggressive with this. And I've seen this as a trend, at least in Texas. Is that something that you've seen in the greater Atlanta area as well?
Yeah, so and is it in my opinion that sometimes new construction may be the route to go, because the reason why I say that is that because new construction gives you so many benefits. Like they really help you with your down payment. And then they can actually help you, sometimes because they have a relationship with the lenders, they can give you a nicer rate, or they can buy down the rate, which will make it a little bit more affordable. And if you get new construction, if you get in at the ground level, you'll accrue equity a little bit quicker because it'll appraise higher a little bit later. So that's definitely an option for you.
I think the new builds, it's interesting. I worked as a wholesaler with a lot of flippers, and even the flippers were saying, hey, we got to pivot away from flips because the margins are getting slimmer. We're going to go into new construction. So I had to
Yep.
pivot my wholesale business from, hey, I'm finding, distressed properties or people going through foreclosure or, hardships economically or emotionally where they might be, parting ways with the home, to, hey, I got to find infill lots. I got to find vacant land. I got to figure out, how to get areas rezoned and what I need to do to connect with developers and this type of thing. So the new builds definitely seem fascinating to me. But we are coming up on time here, Charles. Where can folks go if they're in the greater Atlanta area and maybe they have some questions for you, how they can get qualified for a home, or what their steps would look like if they are in the first time home ownership process?
Yeah, so to connect with me, I'm at genesissignatureproperties.com, or you can connect with me at luxurybycharles@gmail.com, or you can just give me a phone call at 678-457-3718. I do have a workshop coming up in the near future. It's in McDonough, Georgia. You can shoot me an email at luxurybycharles@gmail.com. I give you more information on that. If you're in the greater Atlanta area or the McDonough area, I would love for you to come out and attend the workshop. And we the only workshops with receipts, man. Most of our attendees have become homeowners, and that's the goal.
Amazing. Charles, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.